Hello, all you beautiful people. This is Intentional Healing, and I am Nicole Bridger. Today, I want to talk about the opinion of others. It can be a tricky conversation. So before we begin, taking a deep breath and allowing yourself for these next few minutes just to be here, calling your attention from everywhere it's spread, and give yourself the gift of these few moments. So about a year ago, maybe not quite, I had a really unusual interaction with mom at school, and it's a new school for us. And we were starting a project with some kids volunteering, and I could see that this woman was just sort of writhing, and glaring at me as I was helping the kids, and I could see she was not having a good time, and trying to encourage her. Anyways, so at the end of it, I said, hey, I can see that you're not having a good time, what's going on? And she just said, I've worked with egotistical people like you before, and I have no time for this, and just was going off. And I thought, wow, okay, this woman really got the wrong end of the stick, and for some reason I have really triggered her. So I share this story with you guys because, here's an example of, when I really triggered somebody, so much so that they really, shared their opinion and continue to just glare at me. I still clearly really trigger her, though I have attempted to smooth things out a few times with her. I'll touch on that in a minute. So what do we do when someone, for whatever reason, has a really negative opinion about us? So the first step is to ask yourself, is this mine, or is this hers or theirs? So I sat with it and I thought, okay, is there somewhere I need to take responsibility? Is there somewhere where I need to apologize? And I did communicate to her, and a few times, and then I sat with it and I thought, is this mine? Is this my issue? I had no issue. And then I had to say, okay, this is hers. For whatever reason, and I'll get into it a little bit later, I have triggered her. I have triggered her pain, and she is really stewing in it. So for this example, there's a moment there where I could care. I could change my course of action to a place of depleting myself, where maybe I was worried that she was going to go, tell other people that I'm this terrible person. But because I've done so much work in myself, that didn't bother me. In fact, she did say something to a mutual friend of ours who spoke to me, and I said, I don't have a problem. And my friend said, yeah, she's going through a lot right now. Just don't think about it. Don't worry about it. So here in this sort of issue, I have to check in with myself if how I'm being is being true to myself. Because I naturally just smile at people when I walk by them. Strangers, people I know. And it was almost like more effort to try to not smile to this woman because, I'm always just smiling and saying good morning, and I see her do the same, and she just scowls at me. And I thought, eventually, I was like, oh, am I being overly nice to her to try to win her favor? Or can I not care and just be me? Now, careful with the not caring, because there is also a part of us that will go into the opposite end of the spectrum where we'll say, whatever, it's her problem, I don't care. And how you can tell when that's happening is just check in, just take a deep breath. And if it's coming from a place of anger or a place of fear, then there's something in there for you to heal too. So things that might come up for you, when we can't let go of the opinion of someone else, a very common one is, a fear of being excluded from the tribe, from the group. Ultimately, the deepest fear is not being loved, not being a good person, not being seen as a good person, not doing it right. So for this circumstance, because I was feeling good about who I was and how I showed up, it was easier for me to separate, is this my stuff or is this her stuff? And remember that in relationships, we trigger one another just so that we can heal. Even for me, when someone triggers me, instead of being angry at them, I take a moment, do my best to take a moment and think, oh wow, this has triggered me. I wonder what that's about. I wonder what inside me needs to be healed. So in the same way with this woman, because it was so clearly her stuff, I could have compassion for her, and I could see that she is suffering in her own mind, and at the same time not self-sacrifice to a point of trying to make it better, but reminding myself that this isn't mine to fix. Now this one was a lot easier for me to stay centered around because I didn't agree with her opinion of me. And I knew in my true self that it wasn't about me. Now, times when it's a lot harder to stay centered when someone's sharing a negative opinion of you is ultimately because there's a little part of you that agrees with them. I can remember when I was a little kid and my grandmother used to say unkind things to me when I would eat dessert, and there was a part of me, the part of me that just wanted to be loved, that felt that love was conditional, that I had to be slender to be worthy. And there was that little part of me that agreed with her negative opinion, that was also afraid. She was just expressing her own fears of not being worthy of love, and trying to mold me into that as well. And so What I'm saying is, if there's a part of you that agrees with what they're saying and also believes it in you too, like it triggers that fear in you, then it's going to make you upset. It's going to hurt. Their opinion is going to hurt your feelings. You might feel angry, trying to push it away. You might feel really sad, taking it on. So what do when the opinion of someone else actually really hurts and you just can't seem to shake it? It's been years since the incident and you still just have this crunchy feeling whenever you think about it. So take a deep breath and go into that feeling, that crunchy feeling or that sort of kick in your stomach. And ask yourself, what is it that I'm really afraid of here? And usually something will come up, like I'm afraid of not being enough. I'm afraid of not being lovable. And this is just the survival part of your brain that somewhere in your life decided, in order to get the love, I need to be like this. And it stays in this place of fear, hoping to actually get you to the place that you want to go to, but we know that it will never be enough, as long as you're coming from this broken place. These emotions that are coming up, anything that you're feeling in your physical body, is how your soul is speaking to you. Your soul is calling you to remember you are perfect just as you are. You are already enough. You are love. You are a physical expression of the divine. As you begin to sit in this place and remember your divine self, your true essence, and you sit in a place of loving and honoring yourself just as you are, those fears begin to loosen their grip. And like I always say, with curiosity and compassion, as you start to uncover these things, start to reveal to yourself places where you've been holding on, just be gentle. And ultimately, you'll begin to see that these opinions of others are just messages for you. When they bother you, it's an opportunity, a window to go inside, to find more healing. It's not so much about the other person. It's not an easy journey, and it takes patience and kindness to yourself. But I hope that that's a little bit helpful, as I know so many of us struggle, and then sometimes our mind just goes, and we can't stop caring, even though we know, gosh, I shouldn't care anymore about this thing. Why can't I stop caring? So I hope that's helpful for you guys. Please reach out anytime. My website, NicoleBridger.com. There's a place in there where you can contact me directly, or on Instagram, Nicole Bridger, and let me know your thoughts or questions, and have a blessed day.